Hello, hello! Welcome back to VBS Event Summaries. Like I mentioned in the previous video, we have a mixed focus right in the middle of all the action today with Rise as one, and Akito focus. Because of course, why wouldn't we need Akito right now? This is the perfect time for Akito to face his fear of dogs, right? Yeah, great timing. Rise as one ran on the JP server from March 30th through April 8th, 2024. The featured units alongside VBS are Leonid, More Jump, and Wonderland Showtime. This is also the last colorful festival before it rebrands to Bloom Festival, by the way, so the gacha has these lovely Tenma siblings plus Emu cards. Just thought I'd show them here because I won't get the chance to mention them otherwise. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. I absolutely cannot take this guy seriously. Akito is doing his usual workout in the park and is annoyed by this owner and his dog who have been at the public park for a few days now. Akito is only annoyed because the dog makes him uneasy. The dog's name is Max, by the way, and he's very cutely playing frisbee with his owner. Until the wind takes the frisbee away and it lands right next to Akito, who panics and throws it as far away as possible in order to get the dog to stop charging towards him. In his panic, Akito may or may not have thrown the frisbee with a little more force than necessary, but Max catches it anyway, like the good dog he is. The owner apologizes to Akito, who's about to go on his way, when... I gotta tell you guys, watching this on 2x speed is absolutely hilarious. Anyway, the owner compliments Akito on how well he threw the frisbee and starts telling him about an agility contest he's trying to enter with his dog, and how he's jealous of Akito's natural athleticism. The owner introduces himself as Itsuki Ishihara, and he just so happens to be around the same age as Akito. There's a pretty awkward moment where Ishihara tries to get Akito to give Max a few pats as praise, and where Akito admits to not liking dogs. You get the picture. Mr. Tough Guy isn't so tough once he's faced with a border collie. Ishihara and Max leave after that. Akito thinks about how Ishihara used Aibo to refer to Max, the same word Akito and Toya use for each other. Two partners can still be working towards a goal, even if they're different species. Isn't that nice? Now we're off to the school sekai to check on Leonid. Honami has the cutest dog ever. Look at him! His name is Shibao. Honami says that she's going to take him on a walk alongside Minori and her dog named Samo. More cute dogs for us to look at. Oh, there's also a bit where Kaito talks about babysitting Shibao for Honami while she was at practice one time, and I have a feeling that fact might be relevant later on. So, Saturday arrives, and Akito spots Honami and Minori in the park while he's on his morning run. With, of course, their dogs. Ishihara is nowhere to be seen, though. Akito is introduced to Honami, who immediately recognizes his apprehensiveness around dogs. Akito does try to deny it, but then Max runs over and Ishihara yells after him saying that Shinonome doesn't like dogs. The cat's out of the bag, Akito. Or, I should say, the dog's out of the bag. Okay, moving on. Ishihara and Max start to practice, but Akito notices that something is off. Ishihara isn't putting weight on his left ankle. When prompted, Ishihara does admit to spraining it the other day. Even though he insists that he's fine and tries to throw the frisbee for Max, he winces and Max doesn't move an inch. It's like he knows Ishihara is injured. Akito, Minori, and Honami encourage Ishihara to rest properly, and begrudgingly he agrees. It sucks though, they have a competition tomorrow and they've been training for it like crazy. Akito really empathizes with Ishihara since, all of Akito's self-doubt issues aren't completely gone. It would suck if VBS had to back out of an event because of a dumb mistake Akito made that rendered him unable to perform. Suddenly, Minori offers to compete in Ishihara's place. Ishihara agrees. The only problem, Minori can't really throw a frisbee. It's okay, girl, me either. She's got some real strength behind each throw, but the disc somehow always goes completely sideways. Seeing Minori's skills causes Ishihara to rescind his agreement. Clearly, she won't be competition ready in just one day. Unexpectedly, Max tries to shove the frisbee into Akito's hands. It seems like he wants Akito to throw it for him? As you might be able to guess, Akito is not thrilled about this sudden development. Literally every time that Max barks, Akito freezes up and jumps back. Clearly, though, Max must remember how well Akito flung that disc the other day and is still trying to compete, even if it's not with Ishihara. Akito sighs and relents. He'll enter into the competition in Ishihara's stead. Let's just say I understand how you feel when it comes to not wanting to let your partner down. Honami and Minori offer to help in the preparation and logistics side of things, so Ishihara gives them all a rundown of the competition's rules. It's actually fairly simple. Everyone gets 1 minute to throw the disc as many times as they can, and each pair is awarded points if their dog catches the frisbee. The more impressive the catch, the more points they receive. Akito practices throwing the frisbee for a bit while Honami and Minori watch Max. Once Akito's got the hang of the technique, it's time to bring the dogs back in, which means he'll have to get the disc back from a dog charging right at him. This is basically Akito's worst nightmare. He throws the disc with impressive accuracy, Max catches it perfectly, and then he's running back, getting faster. Akito curls in on himself just before Max makes it back to him, and Ishihara swiftly redirects his dog away from Akito. Seems like those childhood memories are still haunting him. "Hello? What are you doing here, Rui?" There's a nearby howl of a dog that's not Max, Shibao, or Samo, and suddenly Rui prances over completely out of nowhere. Of course, Rui's dog is actually a robot, because why wouldn't it be? Seems like everyone is able to tell that Akito is afraid of dogs. Remember, this guy thinks he's so slick. Never doubt a director's intuition. Rui suggests playing with Max in a more relaxed setting in order to get used to being around dogs in general. The situation won't improve so long as Akito's fear goes unresolved. Honami goes first, showing Akito that Max is a gentle dog and not fearful of strangers. Now it's Akito's turn.
まずは手の甲を前に出して。
これは想像以上に苦手なようだね。
It seems like we need to understand the root of the issue before Akito can start to work through anything. So, back in time we go. It all began in preschool, on a family outing to the park. Enna and Akito are kicking around a soccer ball when a dog gets off of its leash and charges right for Akito. He runs, because what else is he supposed to do? And the dog thinks it's a game, so obviously it starts chasing after him. Little Akito climbs up onto the slide in order to escape. And guys, look. Look at the face of the dog that has Akito absolutely terrified. Oh my god. Suddenly, he loses his balance on the play structure and falls off, and now the big, scary dog can get him. Alright, I'll stop poking fun at him. Things are irrationally scary when you're a little kid. Minori decides that everyone is far too sad to be thinking of a good solution, so she suggests that they all get lunch together as a break. Aha! See? I knew that Leonid Kaito fact would pop up again. Here is your obligatory Vocaloid mention. Leonid Kaito is so different. He's kind of a stoic, cool guy type, closer to Nightcord but nowhere near as mean. Shibao spotted Kaito peeking through Honami's bag, so Honami takes the two of them off to a corner to talk. Kaito recounts his dog-sitting experience and admits to being scared of Shibao's bark at first, since he thought he was barking as a warning. But really, the poor thing was just too sad about being left alone and wanted Kaito to play with him. With the Sekai inspiration obtained, Honami can look at Akito's situation in a new light. Honami suggests letting Akito observe how Max behaves normally, and that way he can be sure that Max isn't a threat. Akito watches from a distance while Max walks with Shibao, Samo, and Rui's robo-dog. A random kid runs over and pets Max without asking, and Akito remembers that dogs don't like to be touched without warning, especially on their heads. Well, some dogs, maybe. Max is the type of dog that would just look vaguely uncomfortable but not do anything about it. And he doesn't, predictably. Akito notices this. He comments that Max is more worried about Ishihara than anything, and doesn't really mind being touched so long as his owner is okay. Next, Rui will throw the disc for Max while Akito watches. Even though Akito knows Max isn't going to attack him or bark at him or anything, he still freezes up when Max starts running back towards them. Rui realizes that this fear is really deep-seated, so only time and consistent exposure is going to make any sort of difference. But the competition is tomorrow. They don't have that kind of time. Suddenly, Minori throws her disc the wrong way and it starts hurtling right towards Akito. Samo is running too, chasing after the disc, but Akito is completely frozen. He closes his eyes and braces for impact, but nothing happens. Max jumped in front of Akito and caught the frisbee. So all it takes is an act of chivalry for Akito to trust a dog. He tries to pet Max again, and even though his hand shakes like crazy, he is finally able to give Max a thank you pat. Now it's finally time for the day of the competition. Amazingly, Akito barely reacts at all when Max runs back to him to deliver the disc. They need to make 5 mid-range catches in order to advance to the finals, and the first 3 are perfect. A gust of wind takes away the 4th throw, and it falls to the ground. But Ishihara's encouragement gets Akito out of his head. He goes for a long-range throw in order to make up the points he lost on the 4th, and Max catches it no problem, because he's a very good dog. Akito even obliges him with a victory pat on the head. The two ended up with 3rd place overall. It looks like Akito has finally conquered his fear of dogs.
やっぱり当分は無理そうだ。
Perhaps not. That just about wraps things up here. I probably went into more detail than I should have with this one, but whatever. It's just a little bit funny to watch Akito freak out over a dog that looks like this. This is why Akito is always represented by cats and cards, I guess. I don't have too much to say for the outro of this video, so, what's your favorite dog breed? I like labs. If you're afraid of dogs too, like our resident Ginger, feel free to defend him in the comments. I am never above Akito slander, so I will not be taking back anything I said in this video. We're finally starting the 5th rotation of focus events now, and you know the drill, we're beginning with On. It's time to whip yourself into shape. I'll see you then.